Hello, sports fans, and welcome to the Scott Sports 101 AFC NFC Championships game recap show from Sunday. The games from Sunday we're going to recap. You will not get a trivia question this time out, but you will get one when I do my AFC Championship podcast this Sunday. So, right now, let's recap on the AFC and NFC Championship games. Are set. We had two great games on this past Sunday, as both games had one team that got a win on the road, and one team that held out the opposing opponent, the opposing team, uh, to get the win in the final seconds of the fourth quarter. In the early game today, the early game this past Sunday, excuse me, the Cincinnati Bengals beat the Buffalo Bills 27-10 at Highmark Stadium in Buffalo. 27-10 at Highmark Stadium in Buffalo. I just repeated that, I'm sorry. In Buffalo, New York. Cincinnati led 14-0 early and maintained it throughout. Uh, the start was similar to the Week 17 game between the two teams when the Bengals led 7-3 in the first and were driving down the field before Bill safety Damar Hamlin went into cardiac arrest. The Bengals held the Bills to a season low, just 10 points. That was Cincinnati's second fewest points allowed in postseason franchise history. Um, and the excuse me, and Bengals running back Joe Mixon tallied 20 carries for 20, 20 carries for 105 yards, marking his highest yardage total in any of the team's six postseason games over the past two seasons. Uh, Cincinnati quarterback Joe Burrow played a major role uh, in that he completed his he completed uh, his first nine scores and finished the day by going 23 of 36, passing for 242 yards and two touchdowns. He also broke Ken Anderson's franchise record for most career postseason passing yards, 1,321. Brill and Mixon's numbers were inactive of how well the Bengals thought they played Sunday, despite Cincinnati having three reserves starting on its offensive line. And there just was a lot to this, and the Bengals did throw a big wrench into their highly anticipated travel plans. And as I mentioned, and Cincinnati's defense and Brewer threw two touchdown passes, as I mentioned, and Cincinnati's defense swarmed Josh Allen on a snow-slicked field in that loss on Sunday, that 27-10 loss to the Bengals, and the Bengals win. And the Bengals are moving on to the AFC Championship game for the second straight year, and that means the AFC Championship game is set. The Kansas City Chiefs, it's a rematch of last year's AFC Championship game, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Cincinnati Bengals, and that will begin at 1 o'clock on 3 o'clock, excuse me, on Sunday. And And Burrow said, "You better send those refunds," referring to the 50,000 or so tickets already sold for the game that will never be played. The Monday night game that got canceled, and it was originally supposed to be in Atlanta this past Sunday's game, but that never happened, and that's why it was in Buffalo. And so, and the Bengals entered the game already feeling disrespected when the NFL began selling tickets for would-be game in Atlanta, and it was the Atlanta game they should get those refunds for, and was dependent on the Bills and Chiefs winning this weekend. But the league decided on the first of its kind conference championships games neutral site setting because the Bills 13-3 finished the season a half game behind the Chiefs 14-3 after their game in Cincy was canceled on January 2nd. When Bills safety Devon Hamlin, as you know, went into cardiac arrest and had to be resuscitated on the field. Hamlin's inspirational presence while watching this game from the end zone suite was not enough to spark the Bills. And they struggled, and it was Joe Cool Burrow showing poise while playing in a persistent snowfall. So this is one of those games, and Ja'Marr Chase opened the scoring with a 28-yard touchdown, 3:20 into the game, followed by Burrow's 15-yard TD throw to Hayden Hurst, and 8 minutes later, Joe Mixon scored on a 1-yard touchdown run, and Evan McPherson made field goals from 20 and 28 yards in the game. The Bengals never trailed in this game. And the Bills' playoff run has ended as for the Bills. And Stefon Diggs was so upset, he was spotted leaving the locker room with much of his gear on shortly after the game ended before being coaxed by a teammate to return. He's a competitive guy, and what makes him good is what you saw, Coach Sean McDermott said of Diggs. And it hurts. I wouldn't want a guy that doesn't hurt. We put it all on the line out there, and tonight it wasn't good enough, and that is the truth. And it was a dud of an outing for the Bills, who opened the season with Super Bowl aspirations, and eventually ran out of emotional and physical gas. Aside from the stunning sight of Hamlin's collapse, the Bills had their schedule twice disrupted by severe winter storms as well. So, and it just was not a good day for the Bills. So, and so. The Bills will have to come back next year and try to have Super Bowl aspirations again. So, but it's the Cincinnati Bengals who are headed to the AFC Championship game once again, and I got to give them to the Bengals. The game balls. Joe Burrow, 26 of 36 carries and attempts, 242 yards, 2 touchdowns. Joe Mixon. 20 attempts, 1 touchdown, 105 yards, and Ja'Marr Chase, 8 receptions, 1 yard, and 5 receptions, 1 yard, and 61 yards. 1 touchdown, 61 yards, in the later game, the San Francisco 49ers beat the Dallas Cowboys 19-12 at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California. The 49ers advanced to the NFL championship game, consecutive seasons. It's their second year in a row, too. And they will take on the Philadelphia Eagles this Sunday. That'll be at 6:30. So, and Samuel was targeted 7 times and had 4 receptions for 45 yards. And Micah Parsons registered 4 tackles against the San Francisco 49ers. And this was one of those games another one that could have gone either way. Dallas had equal chances, but they just could not capitalize and get over that hurdle. Brock Purdy rolled to his left and saw his first few options covered at least at the last second. George Kittle broke free running deep. Purdy threw across his body, and Kittle made a juggling catch that struck San Francisco's only touchdown drive. That one big play proved to be enough to send the 49ers to their second straight NFC title game, thanks to a suffocating defense performance. Christian McCaffrey capped that drive with a go-ahead 2-yard run, and the defense buckled down from there, sealing a 19-12 victory over the Dallas Cowboys this past Sunday. Man, we are just excited that we won, said Purdy, the 49ers unbeaten rookie quarterback. Everyone did their part. It's playoff football. It's never easy, but we're moving on. The 49ers 15-4 used back-to-back long scoring drives in the second half to wear down the Cowboys and win their 12th straight game. And San Francisco advanced to play the Eagles in the NFC title game this Sunday in Philadelphia after losing in that round to the Rams a year ago. The Cowboys, for the seventh straight time in the divisional round, have failed to make it to the NFC title game since winning their fifth Super Bowl title following the 1995 season. Dak Prescott threw 2 interceptions, and Brett Maher missed his fifth extra point of the postseason when his attempt was blocked. He later made 2 field goals, but just disappointment, Prescott said. And defense gave us an opportunity to win this game, but they played hard against a really, really good offense. A really good team for us to only put up points that we did. That's unacceptable. It starts with me. I've got to be better. There's no other way to sugarcoat it, and that is the truth. And the key play came in the second play of the late drive in the third quarter when the game tied at 9. Purdy ran a bootleg that Dallas covered perfectly, but he waited long enough for Kittle to improvise and turn upfield. Purdy then delivered a strike. We needed something, Purdy said. We needed a strike to get the ball rolling. Kittle bobbled the ball a few times before finally corralling it for a 30-yard gain and giving credit to his rookie QB for delivering it. I'm not even in the read, even in the read. So or read or run. So I just kind of saw a space, and he hadn't thrown it yet. So I was just going up the field. Kittle said he gave me a catchable ball, and it was just like trying to be dramatic, just for TV. McCaffrey capped the 91-yard drive with his TD run, and the Cowboys had a shot late when they took over at their own 18 with 2:59 remaining, trailing 19-12 after rookie Robbie Gould's fourth field goal of the game capped a nearly 8-minute drive. But Prescott threw 2 straight incompletions and was sacked on third down. Mike McCarthy opted to punt on 4th and 10 with 3 timeouts left. Purdy started the next drive with a 16-yard completion to Kittle, and San Francisco didn't give the ball back to Dallas until there were 45 seconds left on the clock. The Cowboys took over at their 6th and never got close from there. And I like to be in these positions, Prescott said, but we just weren't able to get anything going, and that is the truth. And Purdy, the last pick in the draft last April, he was Mr. Irrelevant and proved to 7-0 as a starter, replacing injured Jimmy Garoppolo early in Week 13. He went 18 for 28, 215 yards with no turnovers against the Cowboys, joining Joe Flacco, who did it in 2008, and Mark Sanchez, who did it in 2009, as their only rookie QBs to win 2 playoff starts. I am not shocked anymore, McCaffrey said. It's just who he is now. The NFL's two top scoring teams over the past 13 weeks had trouble getting going as the defenses led by All-Pros Nick Bosa of San Francisco and Micah Parsons of Dallas controlled the play. The Niners picked off Prescott twice in the first half, turned those into field goals by Golden, led 9-6 at the break. But the Cowboys scored. The only TD of the first half was Prescott connecting with tight end Dalton Schultz for the third time this postseason, but Mahar's low extra point attempt was blocked by Samson Ebukam. Mahar got some redemption when he made a 25-yard field goal that tied the game at 9 early in the third quarter after Ray McLeod fumbled a punt return at the San Francisco 21. That felt like legit playoff football, Bosa said. That's a really good team. Here's something just for kicks, though. The Cowboys' decision to stick with Mahar after his 4 missed extra points last week looked questionable when he missed an early extra point. Mahar's 5 missed points, PATs, are the second most by any NFL kicker in the playoffs. Ray Gorella missed 6 times and 43 attempts in the 1970s for Houston and Pittsburgh. There had been a desktop pregame when Mahar was warming up. Trent Williams and other 49ers players tried to interfere with his attempts from the San Francisco side of the field, leading into a brief argument. But this was one game where the 49ers just were able to get a late scoring drive and get the win. So they are headed back to the AFC title game. Now a quickie with the game balls. Brock Purdy, 19 of 29 carries and attempts, 214 yards, no touchdowns. But Christian McCaffrey, 10 attempts, 35 yards, 1 touchdown. And George Kittle, 5 receptions, 95 yards, and no touchdowns. That means the AFC and NFC, as I mentioned, the AFC and NFC championship games are set. The Cincinnati Bengals and Kansas City, a rematch of last year in the AFC, Sunday at 3. Actually, that will be 6:30, excuse me. And the NFC one will be at 3 o'clock. That'll be the early game, San Francisco and Philadelphia. And the Cavs lost 105 to 103 by 2 because of a bad call made by the next referee. But Allen and Mitchell both had 24 points. That's just about going to wrap it up for the Sky Sports 101 NFL Divisional Playoff from this past Sunday recap show. I'll be back later this week or this Sunday with the AFC and NFC Championship pregame show for the NFC and NFC Championship games. Until then, always remember, be a team player each and every day and every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1, I'm done.